Yeah, yeah, exactly. Are we gonna do anything with this today, or just, okay?
All right, according to our clock on the wall back there, it's 8:30, so I want to call this meeting of the Simpson County Fiscal Court to order. I'm going to ask Magistrate Nathaniel Downey if he'd lead us in a word of prayer, and we'll follow that by a pledge to the flag.
Everybody here, and look to the heaven which comes our help. All of our help comes from God. Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to be able to come to another fiscal court meeting, Lord. Continue to bless my family, Lord, while you come to the weather. And Lord, please continue to thank and bless all the first responders that we have out there that's responding to the need that we need them for, Lord. And Lord, continue to bless us so that we can make the rightful decision for this community, Lord, in which we have been appointed to. Lord, continue to bless all the citizens of this county and of the city, Lord. And we're going to try to do our best to make everything the way it should be. And continue to bless all the COVID-19 people, Lord, the ones that have had the virus, and bless the families that have lost a loved one, Lord. Bless the ones that's in the midst of the fires across this country, Lord, and bless the ones that's in the path of a hurricane that's hitting this way, Lord. Lord, there's so many things that's going on in this country, Lord. If it's in the time that we really need it, it really is now, Lord. And thank you for everything. In Jesus Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Scott, we're glad to have you back with us today, and you heard Magistrate Downey in the prayers, ask for prayers for Myron. He's feeling a little under the weather. Something about this side of the room is not working out too good right now.
Getting old.
Yeah. I need you guys to hang in on this side.
Oh, yeah, we got it.
All right. Let's get started here. Gentlemen, if you had an opportunity to review the minutes of the September 1st regular court meeting, I need a motion and a second to approve those minutes.
Motion made.
Second.
Got a motion by Nate, a second by Marty. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain.
Motion carries. Next, gentlemen, is to review and approve the second reading and passage of fiscal year 2021 budget amendment ordinance number 220.217. This would be, oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought on this money that's being amended in. I think it's the HIDA, yes.
Love and Chapel.
Yes.
And Bobby said they were prepping Love and Chapel today, so they should start on it.
Very
real
good.
soon.
Very good. So if there's no other questions, I need a motion and a second, and then we'll do a roll call vote on the
So
ordinance.
moved.
Second.
Motion by Marty, second by Nate.
Yes.
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 Yes. Next, gentlemen, is to review and approve the second reading and passage of ordinance number 220.218, setting the tax rates for this tax year. And that rate was set at 10.1 for property tax and 16.1 for motor vehicle, and watercraft was 10.5, I think.
Watercraft 16.1.
16,
Aircraft.
aircraft is 10.5.
Personal property is 10.1.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Marty, second by Scott. Roll call, please.
Marty Schindler,
Yes.
Scott Hudson,
Yes.
Nathaniel County,
Yes.
Mason Barnes,
Yes. All right, next is,
This is going to be a first reading, an ordinance.
We did last.
we did first reading at the last meeting.
The second reading, the zone change, next one.
Oh,
Yes, it is first.
Yes, I haven't said anything about that one yet, but yes, it is a first reading.
Sorry,
It doesn't say second on the agenda.
but it doesn't say first.
Yeah. I hadn't got that far yet, Counselor. Let me get there. So next, gentlemen, is on the agenda is to review and approve a zone change ordinance number 920.114. And this, if you have questions, P&Z Administrator Carter Monday's just outside the door. But this is a parcel of property at the corner of 383 and Schweizer Road, formerly Smith Douglas Fertilized Place. And it's being a zone change from an industrial to a residential. And some folks are cleaning it up and putting some duplex apartments. I think three duplexes, Carter? 3 duplexes on this property?
Particular zone change is changing to multifamily, R2, for 3 duplexes on the proposed development plan. Hadn't been issued as preliminary yet because the zone change is not through. There'll be 3 duplexes, one of which will be facing Springfield Road. The other 2 will be facing entrance on Schweizer. They're also retaining a 2-acre lot on there as industrial, where the one building is proposed to be kept intact, the best building of them all. It's closer to Schweizer, down in the corner where Springfield and Schweizer meet. That one building will be renovated and be left on a 2-acre tract there. Out of the 5, I think it is, or some 4 and some change, will be left whole. And the reason it's 2 acres because that's a minimum lot for an industrial, is 2 acres. So that will be retained as heavy industry as well. What they propose to use that building for, it was talked in the hearing that they hope to maybe rent that building out to some business client that could possibly do work in that building. So that's all we know at this time.
But the Planning and Zoning Commission has already approved and agreed that this is a good zone change.
Right. They recommended the other 3 acres, or, you know, it's a little bit, they're going to have to get a variance on one part of it for one of the duplexes because it doesn't quite meet the lot minimum size. They're a little shy of having what they need, but that's later on after this zone change. The recommendations before the court today gets read its first and second, then we change it on the map, and then we go forward with making the needed adjustments for the setbacks for the duplexes. So that's where we stand at this point. It's just a form of recommendation to the commission after going through the hearing process.
Are y'all all familiar with where this property is?
yeah. What about the pond that was, I mean, obviously it's not, if they've already approved it, then I'm gonna vote to approve it.
The pond, as I understand it, and this is just based on what I've seen so far in the preliminary plan, the pond will be retained as use for retention of stormwater runoff of the 3 duplexes and the one existing building and what pavement coverage area. There's plenty enough coverage amount. The zone regulations require 40% maximum coverage, including pavement, asphalt, and buildings, and they're well within that regulation there. So we're not going to create a big problem there.
Every now and then a big rain.
A big rain, that pond will get over the road some.
Yeah, that's the reason I was asking if they was gonna try to make it different
As we go through the development plan of the property, there'll be some suggestion, I'm sure, because you're not the only one, and everybody knows that when we get a lot of rain, pond tends to want to run over and get over the road.
Okay.
So there'll be something put in place to protect that. Scott Randolph has been working on this project intently, so.
Okay.
All right?
Sounds good.
So if the court's inclined, I just need a motion and a second to approve first reading of this zone change ordinance number 920.114.
Motion.
Got a motion by Nate, second by Scott. Any other question or discussion? And we do a roll call one more time, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Next, gentleman, is to review and approve the Public Works vehicle bids, and I'll let Bobby Groves address that. We had bids turned in last week. I think we really only had one bidder, I think. But, and this is a budgeted item that we're discussing here.
Yeah, this is budget. I sent the packet to a couple companies, but Hunt Ford was the only one that sent the packet, the bid back. Their bid for this was a ton truck, four-wheel drive, four-door. Their bid was $34,407 for the truck and $92.97 for the bed to put on it. And they would put the bed on and deliver it. So a total of $43,704, and that was right in line with our estimate when we budgeted for it.
Does that bed have toolboxes and stuff on it?
Do what?
Does that bed have toolboxes?
It's basically the same truck the city has.
Okay.
It has the flat bed with the raised edges and has boxes in front and behind each wheel.
Okay.
So what we really need, I guess, is a motion and a second to approve this bid and authorize the judge to sign any necessary paperwork.
We can order it, they said it'd be around the end of the December 1st year.
Got a motion by Marty and a second by Scott. Any other question or
When
discussion?
did you say this would be? I didn't.
They said probably late December.
Okay. I thought that's what you were saying when you, okay.
Yep. So motion by Marty and a second by Scott. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're compiling a list of surplus items that'll be auctioned, and we're getting it together. We submitted or solicited for bids for an auctioneer to conduct that auction. The bid opening was last week. We honestly only received one bid from Forshe Real Estate and Auction Company. His suggestion is that we not put on a buyer's premium, but yet it'd be a seller's, on the seller's side. I mean, basically we have two options today. We can either accept his bid or reject all bids and back up and punt, but I would say we're better served to just move this stuff along anyway and get it done, so, yeah.
I'll make a motion.
So we've got a motion by Scott to accept the Forshe Real Estate and Auction bid and authorize the judge to sign any paperwork that might be necessary. All right. Second by Nate. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, gentlemen, is something that happens every year around about this time. We have to review and approve the sheriff's bond increase from $50,000 to $500,000 for the period of October 1 through January 1. This is for tax collection purposes and to make sure that the sheriff can cover his losses. You can come up and speak to it. We'll let you speak,
Just protect
Sheriff.
us.
To protect us.
The auditor request, I think that was a compromise over the years of trying to raise it up. It protects you, it really doesn't protect me.
I know, I'm just kidding.
If I make that dash to Florida with a large amount of money, y'all, that's how y'all get it back.
Oh, don't be fooled, we're gonna hunt you down, Sheriff.
So much.
All right, motion by Marty, second by Nate. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And for the public watching this, it's all right to have a little fun every once in a while. We need to laugh and have a good time. Next, gentlemen, we tabled this from our last meeting. I do want to point out one change is, I think the language originally at the top, let me get to it, was where it talks about the recommended to be effective by. Originally, it was as though it happened at the beginning of the fiscal year, so we revised that to reflect the actual effective date. If you look back on the portal at the last one, I think it read as though it was effective at the beginning of the fiscal year. So we wanted to revise that to reflect the actual date of effectiveness. Does that make sense?
If I'm understanding this right, and I just want to say, I don't really have a problem with this, but there were some departments that give more than the 1% raise. They had employees leave and they took and give more than 1% raise, but they did that before today.
But that was in the scope of their budget.
But, I mean, we've got, these employees I would not have a problem with backing it up a little bit and making it retroactive to.
That's entirely the pleasure of the court.
I mean, I really didn't have a problem with giving the employee raises. I just, how long has those
Fiscal
departments?
year.
They started on the fiscal year? Well, I think to be fair to the employees on this list, we should back it up and do the same as what they did.
Is that problematic from an accounting standpoint?
I mean, too, but now that the sheriff and the jail didn't start until the end of July,
Okay, so August 1.
so
I mean, if that's okay with you all.
Fine.
Because I want to be as fair to the.
So you want to retro this to the effective date of the first payroll in the month of August?
That'd be fine with me.
So I've got a motion to move forward with employee resolution number 2020-09-015 EMP, effective on the first payroll date of August 2020.
Second.
And a second by Nate.
I have no problem
Nope.
with that. And before, the only reason
I know.
that I didn't vote for a raise was we were uncertain of how we was gonna be affected, so with this CARES money, I'm good.
Very good.
Judge,
Yeah.
I would like to apologize, there's a typo in the resolution number, that should just be 2020-09-15. Just.
No 0-15.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. So the motion and second, then any other discussion? Chandler made the motion, Downey second. No other question or discussion. I would take all in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed?
Okay.
Motion
Now, I know we approve personnel for all the departments, but is there a way we can make a motion where they can't give more than the raise we authorize, even if it's within their budget without approval by us?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, because once a department has been given a personnel budget, that's their number to work with.
But that's based off of that amount of employees. If they have one or two leave, you see what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
Is there a way we can say, I'm not really trying to, I don't want to see one department get real big raises. I mean, we got one that can do that, and then we got a department like Public Works that can't do that without the fiscal court approval. So, I mean, is there a way we can do that?
I mean, I guess technically we could. Of course, honestly, I mean, I've made no secrets about this since I've been here. I would like to see salaries across the board get a little more competitive. I mean, like I said, sheriff's not competing with other sheriff's agencies. Jail's not really competing with other jails. We're competing with Tractor Supply. I mean, for good people. We're competing with places that you don't have to carry a gun and walk up on a domestic violence scene that's paying more than we're starting sheriff's deputies. I'd like to see it all get better. I mean, I think this, I mean, I understand what you're saying. Honestly, I think this is a discussion as we go into the next budget cycle. I mean,
That's
because
fine.
because I would like it
wanted
to be,
bring
I
that
would
up.
like it to be a budget discussion where the sheriff, the jailer, and the clerk are all sitting down with us in this budget discussion, figuring out, what we're doing.
The only thing I'm trying to prevent is if the jailer or the sheriff or any department has one or two leave, and say the sheriff can't give but so much of a raise, but the jailer has a couple employees leave, he might go and give a larger increase to the ones there if he don't, you know, and it makes,
it's not
it,
it's not just the sheriff's department or the jail. I mean, we kind
We
of
got
do it like
public
with the road
works,
department
the clerk,
as we had
yeah.
people leave there, there's a budget number there. We have budget numbers in every department. We just like say, let's take the fire department, for instance.
right.
We're not having people leave. If we did, you know, those numbers could be adjusted based on that payroll number. But I understand what you're saying, and I do think it's a worthy discussion when we start
Okay.
in budget planning.
All right.
Did we vote on this?
Thought we did.
Okay.
No, but,
Okay. Yeah, because we was ready to move to budget transfers.
And there are
No budget transfers, okay. Then bills and claims, gentlemen, if you had an opportunity to review those, we just need a motion and a second to approve those claims as presented. Motion by Nate. Second by Scott. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
do we need to approve that XYZ drawing?
And we're going to talk about that in just a
Okay.
second. Next would be to review and approve the August 31, 2020 financial statement, subject to audit, and authorize the county treasurer and the county judge to sign that.
Move to approve subject to audit.
Marty's made the motion, Scott seconded. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? All right, getting into reports, I have a couple of meeting dates we need to discuss. As most of you know, all those schools going virtual, they are taking fall break the first full week of October, which I think starts like October 5th or something like that. So our meeting in October would actually be October 6th. Of course, where we're at here on the 15th, if we go from the 15th to the 6th, we're about a 3-week period going toward the end of the month, which is a little tougher than a 3-week period at the beginning of the month. So what I propose is that we cancel the October 6th regular meeting, but schedule a special called meeting for Wednesday, September 30th at 8:30 a.m. Wednesday. Do we need, Counselor, do we need to by motion cancel a regularly scheduled meeting?
No. Just give notice of it, and
Okay.
give notice of the special call.
Yeah, I mean, I knew we could just give notice of a special call, but.
No, you don't have, you just
Okay.
give you don't have to do a motion.
All right, so our October 6th meeting will be canceled, but we will do a special call on Wednesday, September 30th at 8:30 a.m. And then the next date to bear in mind, then we would go ahead with the third Tuesday in October, a regular meeting. The next date to bear in mind is November 3rd, which is Election Day, which will be our typical meeting day.
We need to cancel
But
that.
one of the two polling places is going to be the courthouse. There's only going to be two polling places for the November 3rd general election here in Simpson Elementary. So what I propose is we cancel our meeting for Tuesday the 3rd and just have a special call for Wednesday the 4th. Okay.
Judge, just so I'm clear on this, on the meeting on the 30th, that's at 8:30 in the morning, correct?
Yes,
And you're saying November 4th?
will be 8:30 in the morning also.
Okay, so cancel 11/3/20 meeting. And set special call. Okay, thanks.
All right. Next, normally I would give you some numbers for the Barren River District Health Department. Since the mandated changeover to the state system, that's gotten to be quite a task. And the notice I got from the district yesterday was that they weren't able to get any numbers out of the system, and so they didn't even issue a report yesterday. In fact, the exact message says they could not accurately extract the numbers. So, who knows where we're at right now. And then the XYZ draw, they've requested a draw of $32,197. 5,000 of that is going directly to the Brad, and that leaves a remaining balance on their available to draw of $54,803. And to Marty's question, I don't know, Counselor, do we have to have a motion in a second to approve that draw since we've already approved the grant and the whole process? Do we have to approve each separate draw?
Brad said, we did go ahead and approve the last time draw number one.
Okay.
I think that's correct.
Okay.
But she said that you don't have to, but I still.
Okay.
I think just for
I'm good with it.
clarity's sake,
So what it is, so draw number 2 is $32,197. 5,000 of that is like a processing type fee that goes to Brad, which is part of the $30,000 that they get for overseeing the
It was for the planning part.
yeah. So, got a motion by Marty to approve that draw. Second by Nate. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed? That motion carries, and I think that winds my report up. Scott, you have anything?
Yes, out on the Stevenson Road, 621. They got signs posted that that bridge will be closed, the 21st of September.
21st of September.
Don't know.
Are they replacing that?
They are.
And it's going to be a little wider? No wider?
I think they're just replacing.
Just replacing it?
Because I asked Wilson, I was hoping they would
They
straighten
were
that
hoping they were
curve
gonna
out.
straighten it,
It's
they're not
all,
going to, I don't think.
no, I said,
That funding, that project is done to replace what was there with the line structure.
which is, I wish they could straighten that curve. But that's what we're gonna get. So anyway, we will be closed up.
Which brings me to something I did forget I was going to talk about, but that made me think about that. Last week, Bobby and I took a look at the intersection of Coomer and Schweizer Road. I guess there was an accident caused a flip over. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The problem with that intersection that's a little bit unique to some other intersections is, where Schweizer's a state road that has the right-of-way through, Coomer's county road, and when that all is cropped on all four corners, well, two of the corners are houses, but especially going out Schweizer, if you're going out Schweizer from 383, if the crop is on, you can't really see the traffic that's moving down Coomer Road to tell if these people are going to slow down, if they're going to get the stop sign or whatever. So evidently it's been a problem area. So Bobby has ordered rumble strips that we will place between, there's two stop ahead signs before you get to the stop sign. But we're going to place these rumble strips and then paint the stop ahead beyond the rumble strips on the road. And I think that'll be a big help. Bobby's also helped us out in, we're going to have a way to monitor that intersection so that, and I want to urge the public, especially, the young folks, if you've got kids out there or anyone, please do not deface the signs. One of the stop signs was completely painted over. Please don't deface the signs. Please don't go out and paint up the work that's being put down on the road to try to keep people safe, because we're going to have a way to monitor that, and we're going to try to find who you are, and we're going to try to hold you responsible for doing that if you do. So I want to just encourage everyone, please, I know this has been spray paint road for really a long time. I've talked about this. I graduated high school 36 years ago, and they were painting on that roadway out there long before I graduated high school. So I don't know how long they've been painting on that road, but I'm gonna say at least 40 years, if not more than 40 years. You know, if you want to do that, just don't paint the sign, paint on the safety markings and stuff such as that. It's not only is it criminal activity, you're endangering other people's lives when you paint over the safety features.
The biggest problem is the majority of those are not people who live in this community.
You're probably right. Did you want to speak to this?
Yes. I come through that intersection.
Yeah. We're trying to get everybody recorded so the public can hear us. Thank you.
Swizer and Coomer, that's out in my neck of the woods too. I go through there every day. I noticed that pole there, it's a power pole. I think it's a power pole. Matter of fact, the wreck, I think one of those vehicles ended up against that pole. Is there any possible way, and I know you're talking about the speed strips, is there any possible way to put maybe a caution light or something across there? And I understand you got state and county.
We've had that discussion, and the state would have to agree to it. I can't speak to where we're at in that discussion right now.
I'm just asking. I'm asking as a concerned citizen, because we come through there, and just as you said, and you explained it perfectly. When the corn crops are up, you cannot see it, and I even slow down on the tractor. That's how nervous you get right there at that intersection. And to what Marty said, these are not our county people that we're worried about, because we know they're bringing in people from Tennessee as a tourist attraction, which, thank you for coming to Simpson County, but they don't know the rules over there, and they fly right through there, and guess what? It's too late.
Yeah. And of course, there's two stop ahead signs. There's a stop sign. Our hope is that when they hit these 6 rumble strips, that kind of wakes them up like, hey. But yeah, I'm not opposed to the caution light. It's just, I don't know whether or not we can get the state to agree. I can't answer that today.
Just
Why haven't you had a record to there this weekend? I mean, that's how they look at it.
I know.
You can tell them there's a problem, but until somebody.
Well, I had the
actually
sheriff
gets
pull
hurt
that
or-
up for like the past 2 years. Honestly, that was the only 3rd accident they've worked at that intersection.
Been 3 wrecks in 2 years.
Yeah,
We also had a fatality there
years ago.
years ago.
Yeah, I know. But Bobby, I do appreciate Bobby's attentiveness to this. He got right on it, and we've got the strips ordered, and as soon as they come in, they're gonna get them down. Nate?
Really no report no more than that. Football will start up this week. You know, the high school team starts Friday. And the Little League football will be starting as well. The practices have already started. The Little League first game is the weekend of October 3rd. That's after Little League.
You're good. Marty?
Talked to Devin Perry this morning. They're having a real short special call meeting. They're going to take compensating rate for animal service. Bobby Groves told me that Lovett Chapel's being prepped to be paid this week the way he understands it, and that they're moving up Salem Road. It could be shut down as early as Thursday this week.
Which road?
Salem.
Okay.
And we could check and see 4 or 5 years ago, James Neal, when James was still living and all, he said he had it on video where the game warden run over that historic marker sign at Gold City, and that's never been put back up. And I'd like to see that sign put back up if we could get that historical marker sign put up.
I have a personal interest in that. I'd like to see it up too.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know if we can talk to I don't know what department of transportation does those markers, but it was, I gave a little description of Gold City. I would like to see that back up if we can get that up. So,
I'll contact Joe and see who we need to talk, Joe Plum.
Right.
See who we need to talk to about that.
right.
Okay.
Right. other than that, just watch we was talking about roads, watch the equipment on the highways where lots of farmers are moving equipment now. And I called Mason after that wreck. I called him and told him about the issue out on 31W by the Tyson. It's now Tyson, used to be Equity or Cables or whatever. Last Wednesday morning, there was 21 trucks sitting on the road waiting to get into the lot at 8:30.
On the shoulder and in the center turning lane.
There was 7 in the turning lane this side of Equity or Tyson, and there was 14 on the shoulder. They were back past Eden Mill Road, and they were waiting to get in. So they have enough land out there to build a parking lot. No other business is allowed to use a state road as a parking lot. They should be made to build a parking lot to get those trucks off the road. But that's a dangerous issue. I mean, not only could the business, I think, could be held liable for that, but if you're sitting there in a truck and somebody runs over you, I'm sure they get one of these big lawyer firms, they'd sue everybody they could sue out there if somebody were to get hurt. So it's a safety issue.
For the people, of course.
Yeah.
Not for their pocketbooks. but for
Right.
the people.
So I just, if people are out in that area, be safe out there.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'll.
All right, so, Counselor?
Couple of things. Tax sale, I believe, is next Monday. I think they will take payments through the end of this week. This is your last chance, last time I'll warn you until next year, but you need to make sure that the tax auction is coming up, get paid by Friday. Second thing, this is cleanup from the Barnstable Road Bridge project. You all may or may not recall, there were 2 parcels that were procured to straighten the approach to the bridge, one of which were owned by Hardcastle, and a deed, we got a deed acquiring that small piece of ground, and then there was a second piece of ground that was owned by the Hardcastle's father, and it was, when he passed on, it basically went to his 3 children in undivided equal shares. The problem is, the whole reason we were having the rigmarole was one of the 3 children was being unrealistic in his expectations and unrealistic in his opinion of the value of the property. And I think the surveyor basically, and the appraiser said all it was really good for us, helping hold the world together. So I've managed to, I've got Mr. James Hardcastle, who lives here, and also his sister, Ms. Pope, down in Florida, agreeable to the appraisal for the piece of ground was $5,000. And so I think we talked and maybe even approved, offering what the appraisal was, which is $5,000. And so a third of that was like $1,666.67. And so the 2 siblings I've talked to are agreeable to that. And then my thinking is the other sibling, Mr. Hugh Hardcastle, Jr., basically is the one who was being difficult. He has gone on to his reward, has 3 children of his own. I've got addresses and hopefully contact information. Right now, my plan of action is to go on and get 2/3 birds in the hand before pursuing 1/3 in the bush. And so they're agreeable to transfer. And so what I need from you all, and I hope it was in the claims section, but I could get 2 $1,666.67 checks cut and then I can get the Hardcastles here to sign, and then mail to Ms. Pope, and get that done, and then I can pursue the others. And if I can't, we have at least 2/3 interest in the ground, and if they don't like it, they can do a reverse condemnation lawsuit on us sometime in the future. But I mean, basically, that's kind of what I'm asking for, is the 2 checks. That's 2/3.
I think they were in the claims, weren't they, in the claims? Yeah.
I'm just
It was
saying.
in the claims.
But is
So
that-
you still need a motion, but they're in the claims?
Did what?
You still need a motion?
No, they're in the claims. I just,
Yeah, we approved them in the
That's
claims.
what
I'm just saying, I want to make sure, I think we've done this, but I want to make, maybe I would ask, just for clarification's sake, because it's been a while, and I'm not going to lie, Chuck, that's on me. I would ask for a motion to authorize paying of these 2 sums to these 2 heirs. And, in that way I can go after the other. That way, I think if someone looks down the road, what did you authorize this for? Basically, 1/3 to one of the heirs, Mr. James Hardcastle, another 1/3 to Ms. Elma Pope, Hardcastle Pope, and then the rest of it will deal with when you get the others. Basically, you've got a third, and 3 nights.
So you're saying you think we need to make another motion to approve the checks that we've already approved
Basically,
in the claims?
I'm just saying disperse payment, but agree to purchase a third of the property in question from the Hardcastles for this amount of money, and a third from Ms. Pope for this amount of money.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me, we'll do it however you think we need to do it. I think we'd already had a motion and approved the purchase of this property at that $5,000.
I think we have to, but I'll go ahead and make the motion to do the 30.
Yeah.
And in the 26 states that 1/3 interest is, in the description, so.
As long as
that-
all the paperwork's been signed.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't know that was in the claim. I didn't see that. I don't get the claims. I didn't see that. That's fine. If that's the case,
So-
that's fine.
So you feel good about it?
I feel fine about
Okay.
that. I just want to let you all know what's going on with that. I just want to make sure I'm trying to finally clean this up and move on.
Okay. Well, I think we're headed in that direction.
I'll hush up. That's all I got.
All right. Sheriff, you got anything for us today?
No report, sir.
Jailer, anything?
No report, sir.
Don't see the county clerk. I know the fire chief has got a report. If y'all recall, at the last meeting, we asked the fire chief to get us some numbers on the new vehicle rather than dumping money into another one. And I think, I'll let the chief speak about this on his own here, but I think he met with the city commission yesterday, and I think they've agreed to cover half the cost of this vehicle he's gonna talk to us about.
Yes, that's correct. So, put together some numbers. Basically where we're at is the Dodge, the 2020 Dodge is the only thing available. I'll go into more detail if y'all want it, but that is what's available. And I went through the state contract, process. I also talked to Hunt out here locally, for the Fords and the Dodges. But again, the 2020 Dodge that is on the lot at the dealer who has the state contract is essentially the only vehicle that is available. So that vehicle with the options that they put on it was $30,412. Then with the lighting package, and we did a few things different. We're putting a bed cover and a slide-out tray on the vehicle. I wanted one, basically, I was trying to build one for fire investigation that I could carry my extra tools and stuff, so I don't have to go back and try to get it, shovels, rakes, all that kind of stuff, but the car's not real conducive to carrying. I was kind of thinking I wanted a camper shell, but all that is, again, it's not even an option at this point, but I think this will do, what we need to do. So with the slide-out tray, the standard package that, we use, the sheriff department uses, the lights, sirens, radios, flashlight, all that. That is normally about a $7,000 or $8,000, package. I'm adding on again, the bed cover and the slide-out tray. So I'm looking at a $10,278 for, total outfit. And that'll be, picked up, ready to go. So that total was $40,690. And again, the city's, they agreed to go up to half. And again, I think that number's going to hold pretty true, and these are estimates, but I feel like L&W, they're pretty spot on when they give an estimate. So I think they actually did, the city actually did up to 21,000, so that would be 42, so that would give us a $1,300 roughly, any kind of overages, but.
And me and the chief talked, what we would do is surplus the vehicle with the bad transmission rather than throwing that $4,000 in. Although the other vehicle's 2 years older, at least right now, it's mechanically operable, just you're not.
It is, and we were having this discussion this morning, Nelson's, he had already pulled some estimates on it. It has other issues, the transmission being, on 2008 models, the biggest issue. The other one is more the ABS, the air brakes, those kinds of things. I think we can rob enough parts off of the 08, as far as like the instrument cluster and all, because we just spent money on that probably 6 months ago, trying to get all that fixed. I think we can kind of piece that car together enough that we can use it in, reserve roles as needed. Obviously, we're not going to do anything with it. We don't have to do with it, but I think we can piece together the older car probably a little cheaper than we can replacing transmission and the other one.
So what we would need, and I think probably like what the city done, if you guys are good, we'd just need a motion to approve the purchase of the vehicle to cover half the cost up to 21,000. I mean, that's what the city done, up to 21, but the chief said 40,690 is what they quoted.
Are we gonna use the CARES money for this, or
We can, we certainly can.
Because I know, this wasn't in your budget.
This was not a budgeted item.
No, we had,
We're just gonna do a transfer,
Yeah.
transfer reserve.
Yes.
And one about budget minutes.
Yes.
I mean, the cash is already in the general fund as far as the CARES fund to offset those, expenses we already had, so,
Okay.
but we would need a budget transfer.
We'll have to do it, but we need another one, we need one today.
Well, she's ready to see, if you all approve, he's ready to proceed, so.
So we need to do two things. We need a motion and a second to follow with the purchase, then a motion and a second to have a budget transfer, and I'll let you give us those line numbers because I absolutely do not know them.
Well, I'll move for the, up to 21,000 for the vehicle.
So we got a motion to spend up to 21,000 to cover our half of the vehicle. I can't even get it out before Nate's second. So that's good. I appreciate that,
But
guys.
before the vote goes, is it gonna be, how's the transaction need to go down? Are we gonna pay for it before?
well, I don't know, I was going to comment on that. I assume we would pay and then they would
I think
reimburse us.
that's how we handled the fire truck.
That's what I said. I think
purchase,
that's what we
wasn't
did
it?
with the
We paid
truck.
for the fire truck, they reimbursed us half.
Okay, so that means we'll be spending up to 42.
Up to 42,000, but the city will reimburse us our half up to 21,000.
Yes. And I think they are good because they already have a fund set aside for future purchase of the ladder truck.
Yeah, they put a sinking fund
Yeah,
together.
they've already got monies 2 or
Yeah.
3 years into that, so I mean, and their intention, I believe, is to just go ahead and pull from that, write us the check, and then they'll talk about replenishing that fund on their end, ever how they choose to do that, so.
So right now, we have the motion by Marty and the second by Nate to authorize the purchase. Any other question or discussion?
That had it in pretty good shape on the vehicle, if you get this one.
Yes, we will be in much better shape. We really needed a second pickup truck in our rotation, was kind of the other goal. Again, because with these two vehicles being, the one that we send everybody to training in and all that, we use around town, that's the one that the lights displays and the beeps and the ABS and all that stuff, I mean. So we were having to, this last time, we were having to use our support truck that we would normally pull our, if we had an incident with a boat or the gator or whatever, it was really the best vehicle, the newest one. So we sent them to training and it ended up being the safest vehicle that we had. But in order, by doing that, we've lost now our ability to, so, we brought Nelson's personal truck in to leave there for the weekend in order to, if we had anything. So this will help in that aspect where we can not use that old car and, we can pretty well put it in reserve and, we'll be a lot more comfortable, sending the support truck out of town because we will at least have, this vehicle available to, pick up slack.
Any other questions? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So the next motion would be, we need to have a budget transfer of $42,000 from code. And I don't think if I'm here for 20 years, I will memorize any of those numbers. Got a motion by Nate, second by Scott. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you,
I
Chief.
got one more thing.
Oh.
Thank you, gentlemen. I do appreciate it. Just a real quick public announcement. I announced it yesterday at the City Commission, just so for the public to be aware. The fire department this year, we are going to start testing some of the hydrants that are in the city. Normally, that is a function of the city public works, but they obviously, they don't have inmates and the extra help. So that's kind of one of the things that's getting put on the back burner. So we're going to try to step into that at least this year and see, how that goes. And it'll do a couple of different things for us and the community as well. One, if we can lay our hands on a hydrant and, spend a little time with it, flow testing it, doing light maintenance, painting, greasing, those kinds of things. If you spend a little time with it, you're going to remember where the hydrant is, one, and, hey, this is a good hydrant, it's not a good hydrant, those type of things. So that is one goal. And two is just make sure, these things, that the caps are coming off of them, they're being opened, they're just getting a little exercise. So you might see us out in the community doing those things. Right now, we're just concentrating on the city. We'll be in the city water supply area. You may see fire trucks or these command vehicles out, doing that kind of thing, flushing. We're going to be testing. And then let me say this too. I talked to Kenny down at the city. They're going to start flushing in 2 weeks, and those are different functions. But you may see us out as well, and that's what's going on if you see us out.
You're going to be more testing the operability of the hydrant.
Yes, they are doing, the city, because of their certifications that they have and their water, I don't pretend to know what all it is, but in order to maintain those certifications, they have to flush twice a year to do that. So again, they're really more focused on that. They don't necessarily hit every single one. They're kind of hitting into the line type deals, where our goal is to actually go out and touch every single hydrant, take the caps off of it, grease them, open it, close it, and then identify problems that, hey, this is an issue, and then we can, refer to them for proper maintenance. So, thank you.
Sounds good. Bill, anything with maintenance? Bobby, anything with the road department?
A little bit more information. Already touched on it. Probably Thursday, 11 Chapel, which Marty mentioned. That's that grant we received. The state will be there monitoring that. Also, we've moved up the Salem, as you mentioned. So that road could probably be closed for a month, a week, right in that area.
It scared me for a
But
minute.
what I was going to say is, I'm going to have, but along with the paving, Scotty's is doing 11 Chapel, the Weiss is doing the others. They'll also be doing resurfacing Neely, and we'll be raising a section of White Oak. And I'm going to ask Bob to do a call out so those people know, because I've already spoken to a couple of farmers, and because this time of year, that's kind of hard to do paving with equipment on the road. So, but anyway, we're going to have a call out for that. Just
Carter, you have anything with planning and zoning? Am I overlooking any department head? All right, gentlemen, I need a motion and a second for an executive session relating to personnel, its discussions or hearings which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual according to KRS 61.810, paragraph 1L. Motion by Marty, second by Nate. Any discussion? I just need, all in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? We'll take about a 5-minute recess and convene in the room down below.